Oh my god, hi. Welcome to the first episode of a new weekly series where I, your host, Oliver Edgar, will talk about some film recommendations for whilst we are all in quarantine. Now, I kind of like films, and I watch a decent amount of them, so every single week I'm going to give you at least 7 films that I would personally recommend. I'm going to spread out the genres as much as I possibly can, give quite a bit of range of styles, so, there will hopefully be at least one film per week that you enjoy, and even more, hopefully, I can introduce you to a new style of filmmaking that will, kind of expand your taste a little bit. Now, before I start, I want to say that I'm going to talk about 8 films today. I'm going to start at the most watchable, and I'm going to ascend into the bookier stuff that I watched this week. All good? We ready? Yay, let's get into it. Alright, number 1, Birds of Prey. This film was about Harley Quinn after she breaks up with the Joker, and she realises that she has quite a few people after her. This film was just really entertaining, to be honest. Margot Robbie was pretty good. The visuals were really good. It was just filled with colour, filled with personality and style, to be honest, which I love. Superhero films nowadays are just bland. Ant-Man and the Wasp exists, and that film is a catastrophe. But anyway, Birds of Prey. You won't have a bad time watching this film, and it was a really nice surprise after the shit show that was Suicide Squad. Next, we got this film called Chef. Don't watch this film on an empty stomach. Seriously, I did, and it was torture. It's about a chef who gets fired from a job at a popular restaurant, and then to bounce back, he gets a food truck, and he travels across the country making the food that he wants to make, rather than making someone else's menu. This film just made me feel great. It was a real feel-good film. I really feel like this film is perfect for right now. Whilst we're all sitting inside and, kind of feeling a bit down, this film is just that dose of sunshine that we all need, so really recommend checking this one out. Jon Favreau made it. He's the guy that plays Happy in the Marvel films, and, he got a bunch of his Marvel friends in it, Scarlett Johansson's in it, Rob Downey Jr. is in it for, 3 seconds. They're both in it. They don't really do anything, but they're in it, if that appeals to you. But, it's just a funny, heartwarming film, and it's just, great fun. Booksmart was, it was fun. It wasn't really as good as I would have liked it to be, probably. I think it got a little bit overhyped for me. It was still really funny, though, don't get me wrong. It's about 2 girls who discover that, whilst they've been studying to get into the best universities or colleges, whatever the Americans call it, I don't know, everyone else has been partying and still gone into, the best schools. So this film is basically these 2 girls trying to get to this party to have, the best time ever before they go to college. It's just super bad. It really is. It's super bad, but, less funny, to be honest. So just watch Superbad, or watch this film if you've already seen Superbad. The last 30 minutes of this film are, great. It's so, it's what I wanted this whole film to be. Still watch this film, though. It's a good laugh. It is a good laugh, and it's heartfelt, and everything like that. So check it out either way, and ignore my narcissistic opinion. Hustlers was a lot better than I wanted it to be. I had every intention of hating this film, to be honest. I don't know why. But I'm not gonna lie, I actually didn't. I kind of loved it. This film is about a load of strippers who come up with a scheme to make as much money as possible after the 2008 economic collapse. First of all, J-Lo was great in this film. I loved how you couldn't really tell if you were supporting what these women were doing. The whole thing just felt super morally ambiguous. It was just super entertaining from start to finish, to be honest, and just a hair away from being great. Zodiac. This is David Fincher's most underrated film. Seriously. This is obviously based on the real-life Zodiac killings that happened in the late 60s, early 70s. This film is fucking incredible. I'm not even gonna lie. Really good performances, really good dialogue, really great use of horror, which I wasn't expecting. There's a scene in this film that takes place in a basement. If you've seen the film, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It's just one of the most uncomfortable scenes that I've ever sat through. Just super disturbing. And I've got to credit David Fincher as well, because I know he always sticks to a lot of detail in his films, but in this film especially, it's just incredible. The production design You know, all of the sets are all amazing. And you don't really have to know anything about the case to find this film interesting, to be honest. You know, it just... My dad didn't know anything about the film. We watched it together, and he found the whole thing super interesting. I don't even know why I'm telling you this. You don't care. But yeah, watch this film. American Beauty is kind of a gateway into weirder filmmaking, to be honest. If you want to get into weird filmmaking, this is probably a nice transition. Now, before I go any further, this film is about a suburban dad who falls in love with one of his daughter's high school friends. It stars Kevin Spacey. This film did not age well in terms of his later no, I can't call them accomplishments. Endeavours, yeah. All of that aside, though, this film is just simply great. It's just a fantastic film. It's like, it's intriguing, it's wonderfully acted, really strong script. I mean, it's one of those films that just hooks you from the first few minutes. Sam Mendes made this. He's the guy who made the Bond films, or some of the Bond films, and 1917, and he really did make a classic here. This was his first feature, I think. So, you know, he's a pretty good filmmaker. Annihilation. We're getting into the slightly weird films now. Annihilation is a great science fiction film. I mean, seriously. The score of this film is just one of the greatest things that's ever been composed, in my opinion. I'm not going to say too much about the plot of this film, because I didn't know anything going into it, and I feel like it's a great way to approach this, this film. Not a perfect film, not perfect at all. The first 30 minutes, kind of dull. But, there's a point where this film really picks up, and there's an amazing horror side to it as well. And what it's actually discussing and delving into is actually quite twisted and sick. The last 30 minutes of this film are just perfect. I mean, super, like, kind of unsettling, like, really, like, deeply unsettling inside. But the most unsettling film I saw this, I don't even know. When did I see this? I don't even know. It's called Climax. This is a French horror film, and it's about a group of dancers that have all been spiked. They all drink some sangria at like a party, and it's been spiked. And this is just straight up one of the most disturbing films I've ever seen. There were points I was genuinely close to turning this off, but there was something about this film that just wouldn't let me. There are things in this film that will make you feel physically sick. This film is not for the faint-hearted, and I don't even know if you will enjoy this film. I mean, the acting is just tremendous. The sound mix is just so loud and in your face. I mean, it's a dance film, so there's like loud techno dance music, or whatever it's called. It's so in your face, like the camera movements, like the way it like turns upside down and on its side and goes up the walls. It's just incredible. Just a really, really original and terrifying piece of cinema, to be honest. Probably one of the most effective horror films that I've ever seen. But yeah, there are 8 films that I think you should watch. Let me know if there's any changes you want to see in this series. This is for you guys, so I want your input as much as I can get. If you watch any of these films, let me know what you think. Thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. And yeah, hopefully I'll see you next week. Yeah.